Now, this was Angel Reese during a post-game press conference when she was asked about the friendly bet. Let's roll.
Yeah, I'll be requesting my Apple Pay after this. No, I mean, Paige is a great player. When you, hold her to 16 points, it's tough. She's just so good, and her mid-range is obviously so good. But I think our defense tonight, Rye did a good job, and Borlase when she was thrown at her, and everybody that was thrown at her tonight, I think they did a good job holding her together. But I'm glad we just got.
Take a second look at this clip because it's wild. Angel Reese is sitting right there in a post-game press conference, casually telling everyone she's collecting cash from Paige Bueckers over a bet on their own game. And she's grinning like it's no big deal at all. Here's the problem though. Betting on your own league's games breaks pretty much every gambling rule in professional sports. And the fact that she's this relaxed about admitting it on camera says a lot about how the WNBA is actually handling this. Spoiler, not well. Because get this, nobody leaked this story. No secret recording, no insider tip. The WNBA posted the clip themselves on their own official pages. They pushed it out like it was fun, shareable content, basically turning a gambling confession into a TikTok moment. Now, after quietly deleting the post and putting out a statement, the league says there's nothing to see here. No punishment, no consequences for anyone.
NBA is currently being called out by mainstream media for not taking accountability for this Paige Bueckers and Angel Reese gambling scandal. Yes, it is a scandal at this point. Now, the WNBA released a statement yesterday stating that there will be no punishment for Paige Bueckers nor Angel Reese in regard to their off-court bet that was displayed in front of the world. And what stands out to me more than anything is that they was the ones.
Let's break this down because the details here are wild. Two players actively competing, and they placed a real money bet on the very game they were both playing in. Angel Reese from the Chicago Sky and Paige Bueckers from the Connecticut Sun apparently set up an Apple Pay wager before tip-off. Reese's team came out on top, and she went ahead and announced, on camera, that she'd be collecting. Now here's the kicker. The league's own social media account shared this with millions of people. Didn't hide it, didn't downplay it, just posted it like it was fun banter. But once fans started calling it out, because this is a straight-up violation of gambling rules that every major league enforces, the WNBA scrubbed the post and dropped a quiet statement saying they'd handle it internally. No suspension, no fine, no real investigation. Just a vague line about players being aware of the policies, which basically translates to, hoping this blows over by tomorrow.
Now, ESPN really dove into this story yesterday, and they released a very critical article stating that WNBA stars Paige Bueckers and Angel Reese will not face any punishment after a since-deleted social media post showed the two discussing a friendly wager prior to their team's matchup on Wednesday, a league source told ESPN. So ESPN, I guess, reached out to the WNBA, and that's how they found out that no punishment will be going down whatsoever over this gambling situation involving.
Now stack that up against how every other league handles this, because the double standard here is almost hard to believe. The clip brought up guys like Terry Rozier, who's been under real scrutiny for gambling ties. College basketball players have gotten kicked off their teams for betting on games, and it wasn't even their own games. Different school, different conference, didn't matter. The rule is simple everywhere else. You don't bet on your sport. Full stop. But here's what makes this even messier. The WNBA's own contract with players, Section 3, right there in black and white, says anyone caught betting on a WNBA game can be suspended, fined, or straight up removed from the league. And the commissioner has full authority to make that call. So the rules exist. They're written down.
Which is still mind-blowing to me, but it's being reported that WNBA stars Paige Bueckers and Angel Reese will not face any punishment after a since-deleted social media post showed the two discussing a friendly wager prior to their team's matchup. The WNBA acknowledged on Thursday that the post from the league's X account missed the mark. Yes, and that's what makes this situation so damn bad, is that it was the WNBA that actually shared the post, bro. I mean, like Angel and them posted it on TikTok, but they could have lied and said it was like a social media meme or something like that. But for them to share the post as if it was a justifiable act is beyond wild, bro. The article goes on to say, while the social media post was...
And that right there is the question everyone keeps asking. What if this had been Caitlin Clark? Picture it. The Fever rookie makes the same kind of bet, says it out loud in front of cameras, and the league posts it before catching the mistake. Most people agree she'd be suspended immediately, not because she deserves harsher treatment, but because every single thing she does gets put under a microscope. She's the reason ratings have exploded this year. She's brought eyes to this league that it's never had before. And apparently, that kind of spotlight comes with rules that don't seem to apply to everybody else. Think about how bad this looks. All season, the WNBA's been talking up record viewership, huge new media deals, more investment pouring in. They've called this year a breakthrough moment for women's basketball. And then they trip over something this basic. Gambling integrity isn't some small detail. It's the foundation everything else sits on. It's why Pete Rose is still banned from baseball to this day. It's why Calvin Ridley lost an entire NFL season for placing bets from his phone. It's why college athletes have been kicked out of school over way smaller violations.
It's all press is good press. Even though this is bad press, it's good for their league because you want to know why? Everybody's talking about it. Now, the article goes on to say, according to an article, Section 3 of the document, any player found by the commissioner after a hearing to have been guilty of wagering direct or indirectly or of offering an attempt to wager money or anything of value to the outcome, score, or any other aspect of WNBA competition shall be in the sole discretion of the commissioner, be subjected to a fine, suspension, and or dismissal, and disqualifies from any further association with the WNBA. Now, we know there was a caption.
Here's the buried line in the WNBA statement that's honestly worse than doing nothing at all. They said the post missed the mark, and that they'd remind players that talking about betting can cause problems. Read that again. They're not saying the bet was wrong. They're saying getting caught talking about it was the mistake. That's not a gambling policy. That's a PR playbook. And the real message being sent to every player in that league isn't don't bet on games. It's don't get caught bragging about it on camera. Let that sink in for a second, because it matters more than people realize. Every single year, players sit through mandatory training on exactly these rules. Betting on your own league is rule number 1 on that list. So when the league says the players knew better, they're not wrong. Angel Reese knew. Paige Buchers knew. Even the social media team posting the clip should have known better than to slap it online for millions to see. And yet it happened anyway, out loud, in public, with zero hesitation. One veteran sports analyst didn't hold back, basically saying it's getting impossible to take this league seriously when situations like this just get brushed under the rug. And here's the uncomfortable question a lot of people are asking behind the scenes. Would this same no big deal response happen if it was different players involved? Because when you look at NBA players facing scrutiny for gambling ties, or when you look at entire college teams getting benched over similar bets, the pattern is obvious. Real consequences follow real violations. Somehow, this time, none of that applied. Now zoom out, because this isn't just about 2 players and a friendly wager. Sports betting is a massive, booming industry right now. States keep legalizing it. And with that much money flowing through the system, keeping the competition honest becomes everything. Fans need to believe what they're watching is real, that players are out there to win, not to cash in on a bet. The second a league treats a gambling violation like a joke, that trust starts cracking. Maybe this really was just 2 players having fun with a small side bet. Doesn't matter. What matters is the precedent. Because if a league won't act when players confess to breaking the rules on live camera, how can anyone trust they're enforcing anything happening quietly behind closed doors? And here's what makes this sting even more. The league didn't need this headache right now. Attendance numbers are climbing. Viewership is at record highs. Sponsors are lining up. This was supposed to be a celebration season. Instead, it's dealing with self-inflicted messes like this one, on top of other controversies already swirling around how the league treats its biggest stars. Compare all this to how other major leagues handle the exact same situation. When the NFL uncovers a gambling violation, they don't shrug it off. They launch full investigations lasting months. Financial records get pulled. Phone logs get reviewed. And when guilt is confirmed, players lose entire seasons and millions of dollars. The NBA runs just as tight a ship. Players can't even step foot in a casino in a city where their team is playing. They can't associate with known gamblers. They can't play fantasy sports involving their own sport. That's how seriously the rule is treated elsewhere. Meanwhile, this league's entire response was, delete the post, release a vague statement, move on. No investigation into whether other bets happened. No check into whether this was a one-time thing or a bigger pattern. No public statement, even calling it a serious problem. Just a quiet hope that everyone forgets by next week. Here's why this moment actually matters so much more than it looks on the surface. This league is at a turning point. Almost 3 decades old now, which sounds like a long time. Until you remember the NBA was already signing huge TV deals and building modern arenas at that same age. This league is still figuring out its identity, its audience, its long-term business model. And a huge part of that process is proving it can operate with the same standards as the bigger leagues. When something like this happens and the response is this soft, it feeds the exact narrative the league is trying to fight, that it isn't quite ready for the big stage yet, that different rules somehow apply here. Think about this from a sponsor's chair. You're about to sign a massive partnership deal. You've watched the ratings climb. You've seen the buzz online. You're ready to commit real money. Then you see the league's own account promoting a gambling exchange between 2 active players, followed by a shrug of a response. How much confidence does that give you in the people running the show? Or picture it from a broadcast partner's side. You just locked in a rights deal worth hundreds of millions. Your entire business depends on convincing viewers this is a legitimate, competitive product. Then 2 players casually admit to betting on their own outcome with zero pushback. How exactly do you spin that to your audience? This all lands at a particularly bad time too, because sports betting has never been more accessible. A decade ago, you needed to fly to Las Vegas to place a legal bet. Now it takes 10 seconds on your phone. And with that ease comes real risk. Players constantly getting pitched betting partnerships, seeing their own stats turned into betting props, tempted from every direction. That's exactly why every other league has tightened its gambling rules recently, not loosened them. More restrictions. Every league is moving towards stricter enforcement. Except, apparently, this one, which just proved you can confess to betting on your own game, in a press conference, on camera, and walk away completely untouched. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud, but everyone's thinking. Would the punishment be different depending on who was involved? Because all season long, we've seen inconsistent treatment depending on the player. Certain stars get questioned over every hard foul. Certain records get debated the moment they're broken. Certain performances get downplayed the second ratings spike because of them. So asking whether the response would change with a different player isn't some wild theory. It's based on a pattern we've already watched play out again and again. And whether that perception is completely fair or not, it's a real problem, because it suggests punishment depends on who broke the rule, not what rule got broken. That's corrosive for any organization trying to be taken seriously. Saying they'll handle it internally is basically code for, we're never going to tell you what actually happened. And that silence is its own red flag. Other leagues release detailed findings after investigations. What happened? What rule was broken? What the punishment was? That transparency is what builds trust. Here, we get nothing. Maybe there was a private fine. Maybe a stern talking to. Maybe absolutely nothing at all. We simply don't know. And that empty space gets filled with speculation, rumors, and doubt. The timing couldn't be worse either, landing right after a massive new media rights deal was signed. A deal built entirely on the promise of growth and credibility. But growth needs trust. Casual fans watching from the outside need a reason to take this seriously. And casual fans who see confessed gambling with zero consequences don't walk away impressed. They walk away thinking this is amateur hour. The most frustrating part, this was completely avoidable. Somebody on the social team should have flagged it before hitting post. And if it slipped through anyway, the response should have been immediate. A suspension, a real statement, a clear line drawn regardless of who was involved. Instead, we got a deleted post, a soft statement, and business as usual, A message to every single player that these rules are more like gentle suggestions. Don't be too loud about it, and nothing happens. So where does that leave us? This was a real chance to prove the league plays by the same rules as every other major sport. Instead, it chose the easy way out. Protect the stars, dodge the headlines, hope it blows over. Maybe it will, but the precedent is set now. And next time this happens, because there will be a next time, the league has even less credibility to fall back on, because everyone will remember exactly how this one ended. Nothing. So here's the real question. Was this just harmless banter between two competitors that got blown out of proportion? Or was it a legitimate integrity violation that got swept aside because it was inconvenient to deal with? You decide, because right now, the league clearly doesn't think it's worth answering for. If this story got you thinking, don't just scroll past it. Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because this conversation is far from over.